We're going to get into the principles and the strategies for the rest of the day. Questions, concerns, anything at all? No? Just stuck, yes. We'll look at that definitely. How to work with clients to get stuck on that one way. We'll definitely look at this. Who's gained already in the first couple of hours of doing this a better understanding of what I mean about doing conversational hypnosis?
Yeah.
Yes, and from the demonstration that happened before, we could not set that up more perfectly. That is exactly where I hope the sessions you do from this point forward end up going through those various cycles, so to speak, okay? Like I said, it went a little bit longer than what we had planned for, but it was there, so we used it instead. So what I want to do now is we're going to jump straight into a demonstration. Well, I'm not. We'll grab 2 more people, and we're just going to pick up where we left. All we're going to do is just explore the problem, okay? You might be thinking, well, why are we spending so long exploring the problem? Okay, the reason for this is that's where trance exists. It doesn't exist what do I do after I've explored the problem, what technique do I do, what testing cycle do I do. Where it exists in its most powerful form is through the investigation of the mindset itself. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to get 2 more volunteers to come up the front. We'll do the same thing, different problem. The therapist will explore the problem, find out what's, the hows, the whys. We'll get to those little nuances as well as time goes past. But then to also add as an addition, when you spot those unconscious moments, is to pay attention to them, to help them grow and to point them out. Now, however you point them out with the process instructions, whether it's what just happened then, or did you feel that, or that's it all the way now, or something like that. That's the point we're up to. So I do want to refresh our memory from that, and then we're going to start to add some more nuances to it, okay? So we do need 2 people to come up the front. Who would like to be one of those people? Coming up? Excellent. Have a seat. We do need 1 more person, folks.
I can jump between.
Yeah, do you want to be both? That might be the problem. We do need 1 extra person, guys. Come on up. Give a round of applause. Okay. Let me point out something that hopefully should start to clear things up. You should be fighting to get up the front here. I know it's a little bit awkward because there's a camera there and stuff like that, but this is the place where you learn, okay? You definitely learn watching, but you'll learn more according to the way you do therapy by me being here and intervening and showing you what can be done. Does that make sense? Okay. So since you're up first, will I be the client or the therapist?
Therapist, yeah.
Therapist, excellent. So you are now the client. Okay. So have a think.
I fixed my last one.
Oh, good for you.
Right. Fantastic weekend.
Must have some.
Too many to choose from, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what about
something again that you're happy for everyone to hear?
Yeah. I hate doing housework.
Excellent. Okay, so let's start from there. You're now the client. So remember, the only things you need to pay attention to is when you see Janice have an unconscious moment, draw her attention to it. Say, what was that, or how are you feeling, or did you notice that? And let's just see if it deepens the trance, if it pulls Janice out of the trance, if better information comes up. Once we've gone through the cycle, as we've seen before, then we're going to start looking at pausing strategically.
Sure.
Okay? So go ahead, start where you wish, and let's just see what happens. And again, if you get caught in a place you don't know what to do, that's what I'm here for.
Sure. So Janice, what is the problem?
I really hate doing housework.
Hate doing housework. Why?
Yeah, because I don't know. I just don't like it. I think that I avoid it. Yeah, maybe I don't exactly hate it. I avoid it, I guess, is my problem.
Okay. Avoid it. Why do you think that is?
I'd rather do other things.
And let's pause right there. Good so far. Okay. I want to bring up one thing, and it's a common thing we all do, and this is just something to highlight as well, is the question why. When we ask a question why. Okay. What can happen with a why strategy is it can start to cement things in to become more real than what they are. So if someone's in a negative way, it's very unlikely that we should be asking, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that that's so bad for you? Because what's going to come out of a why strategy is a lot of excuses. The reason why they're here is because of the whys they have spent too longer thinking about. Okay? So an alternative to a why question is a what question. Instead of asking a client, why do you feel that, or why do you think that is, what makes you feel that, or what makes you think? Let's just see what happens. With that in mind.
So where were you at last?
I'd rather do other things.
What sort of things?
Anything.
Who wouldn't, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much anything.
Anything. Okay. So what other anythings could you be doing?
Oh, wow.
Let's pause right there. Okay. Anyone notice the question that got asked? What could you be doing? That's the anything. Nice question, but is it getting us any closer to the problem? No. What Janice is going to give us is a list. Her telling me she'd rather watch TV or go outside, go have a cigarette, go punch a punching bag, go hunt for squirrels, whatever Janice wants to do.
Interesting.
is getting too far away from what the actual problem is. And right now I have no idea what it is. Okay, I don't really even know what she's talking about. Okay, so just be aware of that as well. I don't want my client to tell me what they rather do, because if they already knew that, they'd be doing it. Okay, there's a backflip on that. Okay, so what do we know so far? Let's take it from scratch. What do we know?
Hates housework.
Yep, so there's something to do with housework. She's either, I'm not sure if you even said hate or she might have implied it, but I'm sure it was in there somewhere. And she'd rather be doing other things.
Other things.
That's all we know. Can we fix Janice?
No.
If you had a choice to go to a movie, to watch that movie, and that's all you knew about the movie, would you go see it? I don't know the details. I don't know what makes her feel like she do other things. What she's avoiding housework for. What does she get from avoiding the housework? What is the housework doing to her that makes her want to avoid it? These are all questions we need to ask ourselves, and through implication, ask Janice as well. Okay, so let's backtrack. Let's think. Well, all we know is Janice has said she hates housework and she hates avoiding or she avoids it because she doesn't enjoy it. What makes you curious about that? What do you get curious about?
Why housework? So, yeah.
So how could you ask that without asking her why?
What about the housework do you hate?
I hate the time it takes.
Excellent. So now we got one more thing. Okay, so there's something, there's a time element in there. Okay, it's a better question than asking her what would she rather do, because she's just going to give us an excuse anyway. Okay, so from that, let's pick it up from there. I'll get you to speak up just a little bit, just so the microphone can hear you as well. Use your manly voice. Or is that something you need to speak to a therapist about?
Do the best you can, mate.
Yes. Yes. Just fake it till you make it, right?
Fake it till you make it.
Yes. Okay. Remember, as a hypnotist, this is an important point, jokes aside, you need to have authority in the way we speak, okay? And it doesn't necessarily have to be volume's just so we can pick it up in the microphone. But if we come across as very timid, our client could construe that as a suggestion and not feel the confidence they'd need in order to open up about the housework, the weight, the chasing squirrels, whatever the case may be. Okay, so just bear that in mind as well. So it's a good question. Let's see what happens.
So what do you hate about the time it takes?
Excellent.
Just that it takes time, I guess. I could do other things.
Okay. And why is that a problem?
Because I want to do other things.
I want you to ask her that question again, take out the why, and put a how at the front of it.
So how is that a problem?
How is it a problem?
See the difference? Why we got an excuse? Now she has to think about it because it doesn't make sense.
How is it a problem? Because, you know, there's only so much time, and so
Much time.
if I waste it on housework, then it's gone.
It's gone.
So what do you think she's trying to tell us?
Time, waste.
Yep, something to do with time. Everyone noticed at the end there the way she expressed waste, that has a lot of meaning towards it. What that is, that's our job to find out. So without asking a why question, what are you curious about?
How do you see it as a waste?
Stumped her with that one. Now, if you find your client confused about the question, ask her again. Repeat the question and put more emphasis in it.
So how is it a waste?
Got her again.
So how is it a waste?
I don't know.
That's right.
Never speak up. Get some feedback, find out what's happening with her.
What's happening?
Maybe waste isn't the right word,
Okay.
because I guess it's not a total waste because I'm still doing something.
Not a total waste. So what is it?
A distraction?
Interesting. We're going to find out the from in a minute, but what a difference, right? See the difference in us and the why? Okay. This is what we fix. It's not the housework. Everyone hates housework. It's the distraction. And what I'm curious about, and I know Janice well, I'm curious, what is she distracting herself from? So ask as you will. Remember, voice up, nice and authoritative.
So what are you distracting yourself from?
And we see those unconscious moments, so that's
What
right.
is it that you're distracting yourself from?
I don't know.
What is that?
Whatever else I could be doing.
And what is that?
Anything.
Okay.
So right now, if there's been a couple of layers of confusion, from a simple question, which was what? See the power of that? Are we doing anything hypnotic? It's getting hypnotic just from the very fact of asking Janice, what does she mean by all of this? What's the really underlying thing here? Now, as good practice, just for now, if you find yourself, your client just is so lost in confusion, even ask them a very logical question, they just can't piece it all together, is to get some feedback and just say, what's happening with the problem right now? And it gives us another place to start the whole process again. Does that make sense?
Sure.
There's definitely, it's got its connotations of if someone's in an unconscious moment to leave them there, but already you can see a different trance in Janice.